What makes a film great? Is it the way it captures the human condition, the daring cinematography, or the unforgettable performances? For Martin Scorsese, the answer lies in the stories that transcend time. Films that push the boundaries of cinema and invite us to look deeper into the world around us. In this video, we're diving into the top 15 greatest movies of all time, according to Martin Scorsese, exploring the masterpieces that shaped his career and defined the art of filmmaking. These aren't just movies. They're lessons in storytelling, vision, and emotion. Number 1. Citizen Kane, 1941. Orson Welles' Citizen Kane is the blueprint of modern cinema. From its groundbreaking narrative structure to its innovative cinematography, the film redefined what a movie could achieve. Scorsese, a longtime admirer of Welles' work, has often praised Citizen Kane for its bold storytelling choices. The tale of Charles Foster Kane, a man whose wealth can't buy happiness, resonates on a deeply emotional level. With its intricate character study and haunting exploration of power, the film remains an unparalleled influence in shaping film history, often cited by directors as the epitome of cinematic excellence. The film's use of deep focus, where objects in both the foreground and background remain sharp, was revolutionary for its time. Scorsese has frequently highlighted the way this technique engages the viewer, allowing them to experience the world of Kane in a way that feels real and immersive. It's not just about the plot, it's about how the story is told visually. The iconic Rosebud mystery, which serves as the centerpiece of the film, pulls audiences into a lifelong search for the elusive answer to a man's soul. Citizen Kane embodies the fusion of art and entertainment, making it a permanent fixture in Scorsese's list of cinematic masterpieces. Citizen Kane is also a film of contradictions. Welles, at just 25, was a visionary who crafted a narrative about the destruction of innocence through ambition. But there's a tragedy in his creation. Kane's success comes at the cost of everything meaningful in his life. For Scorsese, this juxtaposition of grandeur and human frailty resonates deeply. It's a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked ambition, yet one that invites admiration for its audacity. No other film combines emotional depth with cinematic innovation quite as Citizen Kane does. Despite its initial box office failure, Citizen Kane went on to become the gold standard for filmmakers worldwide. Scorsese has called it the ultimate template for filmmaking, influencing directors across generations. The movie's subtle manipulation of time and perspective was ahead of its time, and its impact continues to echo through modern cinema. For anyone studying the craft of filmmaking, Citizen Kane remains an essential reference, exemplifying the power of film as an art form. Number 2. Taxi Driver, 1976. Scorsese's own Taxi Driver holds a place of immense importance in both his career and the history of cinema. The film introduced the world to Travis Bickle, a Vietnam War vet turned NYC taxi driver, whose descent into madness captures the dark underbelly of society. Through Bickle's eyes, the audience is thrust into a world of isolation, anger, and disillusionment. With Robert De Niro's iconic portrayal, the film taps into themes of alienation that resonate with viewers decades later. For Scorsese, it's more than a character study. It's a meditation on the American psyche. The film's gritty cinematography, the haunting jazz score by Bernard Herrmann, and its portrayal of urban decay make it a timeless piece of filmmaking. Scorsese, known for his exploration of flawed characters, identified with Bickle's complexity. The film's dark tone and portrayal of a fractured society marked a turning point for Scorsese, allowing him to delve into the psychological depth that would define much of his career. Taxi Driver offers a scathing critique of American life, forcing viewers to confront the darkness lurking beneath the surface of daily existence. In Taxi Driver, Scorsese masterfully builds tension through the streets of New York, creating an oppressive atmosphere where Travis's descent into violence feels almost inevitable. The city, as much a character as the protagonist, becomes a symbol of corruption and moral decay. Scorsese's careful attention to detail, whether through Bickle's obsessive journal entries or the silent intensity of his actions, draws the audience into a psychological nightmare. It's this slow-burn approach to storytelling that makes the film so gripping, an experience that lingers long after the credits roll. Scorsese's connection to Taxi Driver is deeply personal. Having grown up in New York City, he captures the city's essence like no other filmmaker. His exploration of alienation and the psychological breakdown of his characters became a hallmark of his career. Taxi Driver isn't just a film about one man. It's a reflection of a society on the brink, making it one of the most important films in Scorsese's catalog. It remains a powerful statement on the isolation that continues to define the human experience. Number 3. Goodfellas, 1990. Widely regarded as Scorsese's masterpiece, Goodfellas is a fast-paced, unflinching look into the world of organized crime. Based on Nicholas Pileggi's non-fiction book Wise Guy, the film follows Henry Hill's rise and fall within the mob. It's a brutal, often humorous tale that never shies away from the violence and chaos that accompany a life of crime. Scorsese's exploration of loyalty, betrayal, and power in the mafia world is both thrilling and tragic. Through the lens of Henry's story, the audience is given an inside look into the blurred lines between loyalty and corruption. What makes Goodfellas stand out is Scorsese's unparalleled ability to craft a visceral experience for the viewer. The film's rapid pacing, its sweeping tracking shots, and its brutal yet comedic tone keep the audience on edge throughout. Scorsese's use of music also plays a crucial role, with classic rock hits adding to the energetic, chaotic vibe of the story. The sharp dialogue and memorable characters, from De Niro's Jimmy Conway to Joe Pesci's Tommy DeVito, have become iconic in their own right. Scorsese never allows us to forget the fatal consequences of the criminal world, even as he lures us in with the allure of power. Scorsese's signature style is on full display in Goodfellas. The director's use of long, unbroken tracking shots and his immersive approach to storytelling create an experience that feels more like a ride than a film. The legendary Copacabana scene, where Henry leads his date through the back entrance of the club, is a perfect example of how Scorsese immerses the audience into the world he's creating. Every scene is meticulously constructed to keep the audience both entertained and unnerved. Through Goodfellas, Scorsese also delves deeply into the consequences of living a life of crime. While the film is filled with thrills and excitement, it doesn't shy away from depicting the toll that such a lifestyle takes. The tragic downfall of Henry Hill and the inevitable betrayal within the mob family are central themes in Scorsese's exploration of American life. It's a dark, unforgettable ride that showcases the director's genius for storytelling. Number 4. The Godfather, 1972. Francis Ford Coppola's The Godfather is a towering achievement in American cinema, and Scorsese, who is no stranger to stories about crime and morality, regards it as one of the greatest films ever made. The film, based on Mario Puzo's novel, follows the Corleone family's intricate power struggles, love, and betrayals in the world of organized crime. Brimming with legendary performances by Marlon Brando, Al Pacino, and an ensemble cast, The Godfather remains a classic because of its complex characters and its haunting portrayal of family loyalty versus personal ambition. What sets The Godfather apart for Scorsese is the way Coppola blends the myth of the American dream with the tragic fall of a family bound by blood and crime. It's a meditation on power, choice, and consequence. The story is universally relatable as we watch Michael Corleone's descent into violence, eventually assuming the mantle of Don. The film masterfully explores how even the noblest of intentions can be corrupted by the seductive nature of power. For Scorsese, the emotional complexity and ethical dilemmas at the heart of The Godfather continue to resonate deeply. The film's pacing is deliberate, allowing each character and event to unfold naturally, while the haunting cinematography by Gordon Willis adds a sense of foreboding. Scorsese has spoken about the impact The Godfather had on him, not only in terms of its storytelling, but its craft. Coppola's ability to balance intimacy and scale, to create a sense of danger without ever being overt, influenced Scorsese's own approach to film direction. The Godfather is not just a crime epic, it's an exploration of the human soul. The iconic lines, such as, "I'll make him an offer he can't refuse," and the unforgettable wedding scene, are etched into cinema history. Coppola's masterstroke lies in his ability to make us empathize with characters whose actions are morally reprehensible. The Corleones, in all their tragic grandeur, are a family we understand and, in a sense, even root for. This is the brilliance of The Godfather, a family saga that elevates the genre to new heights and remains essential to Scorsese's understanding of what makes cinema powerful. Number 5. Raging Bull, 1980. Scorsese's Raging Bull is often considered one of the greatest films ever made, and a deeply personal achievement for the director. The story of boxer Jake LaMotta, played by Robert De Niro in an Oscar-winning performance, is a devastating exploration of self-destruction, pride, and regret. Unlike typical sports dramas, Raging Bull focuses not on the glory of boxing, but on the brutal consequences of LaMotta's emotional and physical violence. It's a raw, unflinching look at a man spiraling out of control. And Scorsese's direction is a masterclass in portraying pain, both physical and emotional. For Scorsese, Raging Bull is about the tragic flaws of the human condition, embodied in LaMotta's inability to cope with success and failure. LaMotta's self-destructive tendencies make him a compelling yet deeply tragic figure. His struggles with jealousy, anger, and insecurity highlight the complexity of human nature. Through De Niro's transformation, both physically and mentally, Scorsese explores the depths of a man's inner turmoil, forcing the audience to confront their own complexities and flaws. The cinematography in Raging Bull is striking, with Scorsese's use of black and white film adding a gritty, timeless quality to the movie. The boxing scenes are visceral and intense, but the heart of the film lies in the personal relationships LaMotta ruins, particularly with his brother, played by Joe Pesci. The film's tragic ending leaves no room for redemption, making it a haunting meditation on the human need for love, power, and control. Scorsese's collaboration with De Niro in Raging Bull represents one of the most iconic director-actor partnerships in film history. Their trust in one another and their shared vision created a film that is as heartbreaking as it is powerful. It's a film that doesn't offer easy answers, but instead challenges the audience to reflect on the human condition in all its raw complexity. For Scorsese, Raging Bull is a defining work, a film that continues to influence filmmakers and audiences alike. Number 6. 2001. A Space Odyssey, 1968. Stanley Kubrick's 2001. A Space Odyssey is a work of visionary genius, and Scorsese, known for his deep appreciation of cinematic artistry, holds the film in the highest regard. The film, a groundbreaking achievement in science fiction, is less a traditional narrative than a visual symphony. From the opening dawn of man to the mind-bending finale, 2001 is a meditation on humanity's place in the universe. Kubrick's meticulous attention to detail and his profound sense of pacing create an experience that feels both alien and intimately human. For Scorsese, 2001, A Space Odyssey represents the pinnacle of cinematic ambition. The film's slow, deliberate pace and its sparse dialogue create an atmosphere that immerses viewers in an alien world. The iconic HAL 9000, with its calm yet menacing voice, remains one of cinema's most unforgettable villains. The film's use of sound, including its iconic classical music score, adds to the haunting atmosphere, making 2001 a masterpiece of not just visual effects, but sound design as well. Kubrick's achievement in blending the technological and the philosophical is something Scorsese deeply admires. The film questions the nature of intelligence, consciousness, and the future of humanity. It invites the audience to think beyond the confines of ordinary cinema and imagine a world where the possibilities of the universe are limitless. For Scorsese, 2001 is not just a sci-fi epic. It's a profound exploration of mankind's eternal quest for knowledge and understanding. The film's ambiguous ending, with its mysterious transformation of astronaut Dave Bowman, continues to provoke debate among filmgoers and scholars alike. 2001, A Space Odyssey is a film that does not offer clear answers, but instead leaves room for interpretation. This is what makes it so powerful and lasting. It challenges the viewer to engage with it on a deeper level. Kubrick's work continues to inspire filmmakers, and for Scorsese, 2001 remains a touchstone in the world of cinema. Number 7. The Searchers, 1956. John Ford's The Searchers is a film that Scorsese has often described as one of the greatest westerns ever made. Starring John Wayne in one of his most iconic roles, the film tells the story of Ethan Edwards, a man on a relentless search for his kidnapped niece. However, what makes The Searchers so significant is not just its plot, it's the way it interrogates themes of racism, revenge, and the American frontier. For Scorsese, The Searchers represents both the myth and the darkness at the heart of American cinema. Ford's ability to frame the vast, empty landscapes of the West, coupled with Wayne's brooding performance, creates an atmosphere that is both heroic and deeply unsettling. Ethan Edwards is a man torn between his need for vengeance and the emotional toll it takes on him. The film's exploration of moral ambiguity, where no one character is entirely good or evil, remains one of its most powerful elements. Scorsese has spoken about the way The Searchers challenges the idea of the American hero, presenting a protagonist who is as damaged as the world he inhabits. Number 8. Singin' in the Rain, 1952. Gene Kelly's Singin' in the Rain is not just a beloved musical, it's a celebration of cinema itself. Scorsese often points to this film as a perfect example of Hollywood's magical ability to craft escapism through song, dance, and heart. The story, which centers on the transition from silent films to talkies, is both a joyful romp and a meta-commentary on the struggles of the film industry during a transformative period. The energy, the music, and the performances are timeless, making it an iconic piece of cinematic history. For Scorsese, Singin' in the Rain is a love letter to the medium of film. The film's dazzling choreography and use of color show how movies could transport audiences to a world of dreams. Kelly's unforgettable performance, particularly in the title number, is a masterclass in charisma and physicality. The joy and optimism that radiate from the screen are contagious, and even decades later, it continues to inspire directors who admire the craft of making people feel something purely through visual spectacle. Scorsese has also praised Singin' in the Rain for how it addresses the anxieties surrounding the arrival of sound in cinema. The film manages to poke fun at the early difficulties of transitioning from silent films, while also showing how those very challenges led to the birth of an art form that could speak to audiences in a completely new way. The romance of the movies and the way Singin' in the Rain captures that magic has inspired Scorsese's own work in its exploration of film history. In an era dominated by gritty realism, Singin' in the Rain serves as a reminder of the power of spectacle and imagination. It shows that cinema doesn't have to be dark or somber to make an impact. It can uplift, entertain, and inspire. For Scorsese, Singin' in the Rain remains an example of the boundless creativity that film can offer, celebrating the joys of filmmaking while acknowledging its capacity to reshape the world. Number 9. The Godfather Part II, 1974. Francis Ford Coppola's The Godfather Part II is one of the rare sequels that surpasses the original. For Scorsese, it's an exemplary exploration of the consequences of power, betrayal, and the American dream. The film follows Michael Corleone's attempt to solidify his power, while also telling the origin story of his father, Vito Corleone. The dual narratives make this film a complex and tragic meditation on the generational impact of crime and corruption. For Scorsese, The Godfather Part II is not just a film about crime, it's about legacy. The duality of Michael's rise and Vito's past creates a deeply tragic portrait of how the Corleone family, despite their wealth and influence, is doomed to repeat the mistakes of the past. Scorsese has often remarked that the film's portrayal of Michael Corleone's moral descent is one of the most profound character studies in cinema. The cold, calculated decisions Michael makes are contrasted with the warmth and humanity his father once embodied, highlighting the emotional toll of power. The film's pacing, combined with its richly layered storytelling, is a masterstroke. Coppola's use of slow, deliberate scenes allows the audience to truly feel the weight of Michael's choices. The haunting performance by Al Pacino, who portrays Michael with a chilling detachment, showcases the psychological toll of living in a world where loyalty and love are often sacrificed for the sake of family business. In The Godfather Part II, Scorsese sees not just a crime drama, but a tragedy about the loss of humanity. It explores themes of identity, loyalty, and the costs of ambition. Michael Corleone's ultimate downfall is a somber reflection of how power can corrupt and destroy those who seek it. For Scorsese, this film is a vital part of his understanding of cinematic storytelling, a perfect mix of personal drama and grand, sweeping narrative. Number 10. Pulp Fiction, 1994. Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction is a film that shook up the cinematic world when it was released, and Scorsese, an advocate for bold, boundary-pushing films, regards it as one of the most influential movies of its time. The film's non-linear narrative, its irreverent dialogue, and its colorful characters turned traditional storytelling on its head. For Scorsese, Pulp Fiction represents a new era in filmmaking, one where genre conventions are mixed, and the lines between high and low culture blur. What makes Pulp Fiction so compelling, according to Scorsese, is its ability to create a universe that feels both absurd and deeply real. Tarantino's mastery lies in his ability to weave seemingly random moments, like a diner robbery and a briefcase with an unknown contents, into a cohesive, enthralling narrative. Scorsese has often praised Tarantino for how he breathes life into characters that might seem insignificant at first glance, transforming them into icons of pop culture. The film's bold use of violence, humor, and dialogue created a new cinematic language, and its impact on popular culture is undeniable. Tarantino's references to classic films, mixed with his own irreverent style, were a breath of fresh air in the early 90s. For Scorsese, Pulp Fiction captured the chaos and unpredictability of modern life, while also paying homage to the history of cinema. The film's pop culture references, rapid-fire dialogue, and non-linear structure broke the mold of traditional filmmaking. In Pulp Fiction, Tarantino took risks that paid off by creating one of the most original and enduring films of the 90s. For Scorsese, this was a game changer, an example of how films could break free from conventional storytelling to become something new and exciting. Tarantino's influence on the film industry is profound, and Pulp Fiction remains a cornerstone of that revolution. Number 11, 0.85, 1963. Federico Fellini's 8½" is a masterpiece of Italian cinema that Scorsese frequently cites as one of the most influential films of all time. The story follows a director, Guido Anselmi, who struggles with creative block and the overwhelming pressure of filmmaking. 8½" is a surreal, self-reflexive meditation on the artistic process, identity, and the search for meaning. Scorsese is particularly drawn to the way Fellini blends the fantastical and the personal to create a narrative that is as much about the subconscious as it is about the external world. What makes 8½" stand out, according to Scorsese, is its exploration of the creative process and the anxiety that often accompanies it. Fellini's depiction of a filmmaker's internal struggle, combined with the blurred line between reality and imagination, influenced Scorsese in how he approaches his own work. The film's dreamlike sequences, its use of symbolism, and its portrayal of a man lost in his own mind resonate deeply with Scorsese's own experiences as a director. The film's visual style is a significant influence on Scorsese's work. Fellini's use of vivid imagery and his willingness to experiment with unconventional narrative structures paved the way for filmmakers to explore new ways of storytelling. Scorsese has noted that 8½" helped him understand that film can be a means of personal expression, an art form that is not just about telling a story, but about exploring one's own psyche. Ultimately, 8½" is a film about artistic desperation and the search for meaning, which has made it a touchstone for directors who view cinema as a form of self-expression. For Scorsese, it's a reminder that filmmaking is not just about the external world. It's about capturing the inner landscape of the human experience. Number 12. The Last Temptation of Christ, 1988. Scorsese's The Last Temptation of Christ is perhaps one of his most controversial works, but for him, it is also one of his most deeply personal films. Based on the novel by Nikos Kazantzakis, the film portrays the life of Jesus Christ through a more human lens, exploring the internal struggle between his divine purpose and earthly desires. Scorsese has said that the film was a way to explore his own faith, and its spiritual depth is evident in every frame. What sets The Last Temptation of Christ apart is its willingness to question the nature of faith, sacrifice, and redemption. For Scorsese, the film represents a journey of both personal and spiritual discovery, asking difficult questions about the human condition and the role of religion in understanding it. Willem Dafoe's portrayal of Christ is raw and vulnerable, presenting a Jesus who is torn between his mission and the temptations of a normal life, a man struggling with his own identity. Scorsese's direction blends the sacred and the profane in a way that is both profound and controversial. The film's portrayal of Christ's temptation to live a normal, worldly life rather than fulfill his divine purpose challenges traditional religious narratives and invites the audience to engage with the story on a deeper level. For Scorsese, this film was a bold attempt to reconcile his artistic vision with his spiritual beliefs. Despite the criticism it faced from religious groups upon its release, The Last Temptation of Christ has become one of Scorsese's most acclaimed films. Its fearless exploration of faith and humanity has made it a touchstone for filmmakers interested in tackling complex spiritual themes. For Scorsese, it remains a crucial part of his body of work, a film that forced him to confront his own beliefs while creating a provocative, thought-provoking masterpiece. Number 13. The Departed. 2006, Scorsese's The Departed is a masterful remake of the Hong Kong film Infernal Affairs, and it earned him his first Academy Award for Best Director. The film is a taut, suspenseful thriller about the cat-and-mouse game between the Massachusetts State Police and the Irish mob. With stellar performances from Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, and Jack Nicholson, The Departed is a high-stakes narrative about identity, deception, and loyalty. Scorsese's gift for suspense and tension shines through in The Departed. The film is relentless in its portrayal of betrayal, with characters constantly questioning their own allegiances. The dark, gritty tone of the film is a perfect fit for Scorsese's sensibilities, and his direction ensures that every twist and turn keeps the audience on the edge of their seats. The film's exploration of morality and loyalty is deeply engaging, and its brutal, unexpected ending is a testament to Scorsese's ability to shock and surprise his audience. The performances in The Departed are nothing short of exceptional. DiCaprio brings an emotional depth to his character, while Damon's cold, calculating demeanor contrasts sharply with Nicholson's menacing presence. Scorsese has often said that working with such a talented ensemble cast was a dream come true, and the chemistry between the actors brings the film's tense, high-stakes drama to life. Ultimately, The Departed is a film about the price of betrayal and the blurred lines between right and wrong. It's a testament to Scorsese's ability to craft complex, multi-layered characters and keep audiences guessing until the very end. It remains one of his finest works, combining his love for gangster stories with a deep exploration of moral ambiguity. Number 14. The Bicycle Thief, 1948. Vittorio De Sica's The Bicycle Thief is a quintessential example of Italian neorealism and one of Scorsese's most revered films. The film follows Antonio Ricci, a poor man in post-World War II Rome who has his bicycle stolen, an event that sets off a desperate search for the thief. This simple yet heartbreaking plot is a profound meditation on poverty, dignity, and the harsh realities of life. For Scorsese, The Bicycle Thief is a film that defines the human experience through its understated emotional power. Scorsese has spoken about how The Bicycle Thief shaped his understanding of film as a powerful vehicle for empathy and social commentary. The film's raw, unpolished style, which depicts real people in real locations, strips away any sense of theatricality, allowing the audience to experience the pain and frustration of its characters on a deeply personal level. For Scorsese, this kind of realism is what makes the film timeless. It's not just about a man losing his bike. It's about the loss of hope and the human struggle for survival in a world that often seems indifferent. The performances in The Bicycle Thief are remarkable, particularly by lead actor Lamberto Maggiorani, who was a non-professional. His portrayal of Antonio's emotional descent from hope to despair is quietly devastating. Scorsese admires De Sica's ability to capture these subtle emotional shifts, and it's something he strives to emulate in his own films. The film's influence on Scorsese can be seen in his own work, particularly in his focus on character-driven stories that address social and economic struggles. The film's ending, which shows Antonio's moral dilemma as he considers stealing a bicycle himself, is hauntingly ambiguous. It forces the audience to question whether it's the system that is broken or the individual. The Bicycle Thief is a film that stays with you long after you've seen it, making it an essential part of Scorsese's cinematic landscape. It's a powerful reminder of the fragility of hope and the universality of human suffering. Number 15. Breathless, 1960. Jean-Luc Godard's Breathless is the film that launched the French New Wave, and Scorsese has frequently cited it as a major influence on his own filmmaking style. The story follows Michel, a young car thief on the run, and Patricia, an American student who becomes involved with him. With its unconventional editing, jump cuts, and fluid camera work, Breathless shattered the traditional rules of filmmaking and gave birth to a new cinematic language that continues to inspire directors around the world. For Scorsese, Breathless represents the freedom of expression that cinema can offer. The film's spontaneous, off-the-cuff style, particularly in its improvisational dialogue and fractured narrative, captures the raw energy of youth and rebellion. Godard's refusal to adhere to conventional filmmaking techniques was revolutionary, and Scorsese has often spoken about how Breathless taught him the power of breaking the rules. It's a film that celebrates cinema as a living, breathing art form, one that can evolve and transform in the hands of bold directors. The chemistry between Jean-Paul Belmondo and John Seberg, playing the two leads, adds to the film's charm and allure. Their performances are effortlessly cool, their chemistry palpable, and their characters' recklessness reflects the anarchic spirit of the time. Scorsese has noted that Breathless offers an exhilarating view of a world without rules, where the possibilities of life are endless, but also full of consequences. The film's fleeting moments of joy are undercut by a sense of inevitable doom, a theme that would continue to appear in Scorsese's own films. In many ways, Breathless is a love letter to the medium of film itself. Its playful disregard for narrative structure, its fresh visual style, and its unabashed celebration of youth and rebellion make it an unforgettable cinematic experience. For Scorsese, it's a touchstone for how cinema can break free from tradition and capture the spirit of the times. Breathless remains one of the most important films in the history of cinema, and its influence on Scorsese is undeniable.